On the mic with Mike. On the mic with Mike. On the mic with Mike. I'm on the mic with Mike. Is that a guru? No, he's a businessman with a great radio show. And he supports the nonprofits.
Mike King Biz. King Biz here, host of On the Mic with Mike Richards, premier business radio program. We're heard as part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 daily from 5 to 7 a.m. The Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3 p.m. as well as International Business Growth Radio. That is Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern. That's where you find us. That's where the game changers come to talk. On the Mic with Mike King Biz Radio is the premier business radio program in Central Virginia.
Hi, I'm Reba Hollingsworth with CBS 6, and I was on the mic with Mike and had a fabulous time. Make sure you tune in every week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. This is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. That's right, kick your day off with us every day from 2 to 3. That is at The Choice. That's my afternoon home, 105.3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. That is, we've done like LeBron and taken our talents to worldwide. So what we do is we showcase RVA in a different way, showcasing all the great things happening here with us. Alrighty, so you can follow me on all the social platforms on Mike RVA, as well as Mike King Biz. In studio with me, you know, I roll with rock stars. We got radio personality, leadership guru Jerry Howard in the building of Intrepid Impact Team. Welcome back to the program.
My pleasure to be here, Mike. It's always exciting when I get to share the microphone with you. And I know that like Intrepid Impact Team, you're always looking for game changers.
You got it.
Making a change in the community. So let me just give you some background on today's guest. His name is Bill Sharp. He's the head of school for Richmond Christian School. Now, my children, my two little guys, they're in elementary school. They attend school there. And we've always desired to have our kids in a faith-based learning environment. And God has worked great to bless us with the resources to do that in the last couple of years. So I was so excited when I could bring him here because, you know, a large portion of what I do in business and speaking is faith related. And if you guys don't know, I'm the host of Intrepid Impact Leadership Broadcast. It's 106.1 ESPN Richmond Radio on Mondays at 6:30 a.m. Every week, you can find leadership and faith. Well, Intrepid Impact in today's community, a lot of times means standing up for your faith. And when my kids come home from RCS, or when I pick them up from school, I usually pick them up in the afternoons, they're getting in the car, not only talking about what they're learned, what they're excited about. Hey, we did this thing with, with sprinkles today, or whatever it is that they were doing. They're talking about faith. They're talking about their faith, and they're developing that personal relationship with God that we have in our family. And so that's just so rewarding. And not only that, but we checked out all the private schools, faith and non-faith related, and RCS has the best value that we found. And not only that, but again, they're getting a great education. So it's my pleasure to introduce Bill Sharp, your head of school. Bill, how's it going, man?
Doing good, Jerry. Thank you for the time. And Mike, thank you for.
All right, we spared no expense, sir. I mean, but this is not expensive, but we spared no. All righty, sir. I always say this is a business show, so give us your elevator pitch. Who you are, and what do you do?
So Richmond Christian School is one of a number of growing private schools here in the Richmond area. We have been a school in business for over 70 years and have been at our current site since probably the mid 80s. Our school as a Christian school, our vision is to educate hearts and minds for Christ. And everything that we do as a school, academics, athletics, extracurriculars, everything that the school is about has Christ at the center. So when we have new families come in, we make sure that they understand that their curriculum is.
They understand what time it is.
And our curriculum is all Jesus-centered. Even in math, history doesn't matter. They're going to hear about God in everything that we do there at RCS.
Which grades are the 10 there?
We have kindergarten through 12th grade.
Okay.
And currently our enrollment overall is a little over 300 right now. We see that we've had a number of families that recently that have toured and different inquired about the school. And so we expect that number to continue going.
And where are you guys located?
So we are on Belmont Road. So 6511 Belmont Road, right in the heart of Chesterfield County. pretty much right off about a little over a mile and a half off of Chippenham.
Well, clearly, I got the right person in here to ask. How are the kids doing out there? So, okay, so here, not clearly, I'm not saying you may be a little biased, but there's the kids who are out in the world, and then there's the kids who you guys see on a daily basis. Talk about what you see out in the kids in the world, and then talk about how you see your kids coming through COVID with, sending everyone home, the mind state of kids these days.
Gotcha. But I mean, it doesn't matter what school you're at, kids are kids, number one. They all have the same issues growing up, the same hormones, the same struggles with the future and uncertainty and things. But what we hear over and over again, the research keeps going back to the mental health issues that kids are having, and the stress, the anxiety, and different things. And when they're out there in the world and they're seeing everything going on in the world, that just ramps up that anxiety. And so when they come to a school like RCS, where Christ is at the center, all of our teachers have that personal relationship with Christ. Everybody from the head of school down to the custodians, the librarians, everybody who helps out with the school, all have that same relationship. So they understand what it means to have peace in their life. And so when these kids come in, it's like moving into a brand new house. You don't move into a brand new house with all brand new furniture that they provide. You bring all your stuff with you.
Yeah.
And these kids, when they come into a Christian school,
They're bringing their
they're
stuff with
bringing
them.
their stuff with them. And so part of our job is to help them sort out what stuff do you keep and do you develop and let God help you with, and what stuff do you try to kind of leave behind and kind of set aside. And so that's really our focus is bringing these kids in that environment where they're loved, they're cared for, they know the teachers are praying for them, they're praying with them. We develop discipleship groups within the course of the school. We have chapel every week that allows the students as a whole to connect with God, elementary first and then secondary at a different time. But once a week, we have that opportunity to make that connection in a chapel setting. And then, like I said, 24/7 RCS is all about Christ.
When you guys looked at it from a business standpoint, so we're leaving the church part out of it, from a business standpoint, so you guys are back in 2019, you got your goals at the church. This is the business part of it. You guys are gonna kill it. We're doing good, and then COVID showed up. It showed up, and it didn't leave. What did you guys learn coming through that now, which you never did before, but all of a sudden you're like, you know what? We were forced to do that, but that thing, it was unspeakable pre-COVID, but we realized from a business standpoint that it worked.
Well, first of all, as an independent, non-denominational Christian school, it's a different model. Some schools are connected to a church specifically. We were at one point, and then when the church decided, we're not going to keep the school, some of our parents came together, they bought the school, and now we're independent. So that gives us certain freedoms in different ways. But yeah, when COVID hit, and everybody heard, oh, we're going to spend 2 weeks to flatten the curve, and so we'll be home for a couple of weeks, and then a couple of weeks turned into who knows when we go back. And going through that last quarter of that first year of COVID, where everybody was shut down, there was a lot of uncertainty from other people, but we just believed that God was going to continue to provide, and He was going. Even though we were virtual with all of our students at that time, we just really felt like if we stand in faith and trust that God's going to take care of us, that He's going to take care of us. Not that we're not going to ever experience COVID or nobody's ever going to get that, but we knew that He was going to lead us through it. So then we come into that next year, and where all the public schools were saying we're shutting down, everybody's going virtual, we said as a school, we're going to believe that God is going to continue to protect and provide. And we were able to stay open, and we offered the virtual component. And so the first thing we learned was we can be pretty diverse in the way that we provide education.
That's something different.
We had our teachers in the classroom that all had cameras there. And so some of our families, for various reasons, medical and different things, they had to keep their kids home during that time. And we got that. So we were able to provide that opportunity for them to still learn virtually while we still had a lot of our kids in the building that were getting face-to-face instruction. And so through all of that, like I said, we realized, number one, what an awesome group of teachers we have that were able to just step up and really within 2 weeks transform their classroom from where we're going completely online to we're going to have this hybrid kind of model and have kids in the classroom, kids at home. And, in that, a lot of families really appreciated that. In fact, the day that Chesterfield County, and I spent a lot of years in Chesterfield County, and I know there's a lot of great people there, and that the school has a lot of great things to offer. And we when we made the announcement that we were staying open, and then the county schools made the announcement that they were going virtual, we had close to 100 families that reached out to us in 2 days.
Was that on the news?
I'm not sure if it was
For,
or
you know,
not,
for
but it
whatever
was-
reason, I remember when they had said, and maybe we had talked to other schools that said when county schools and everyone shut down, that the idea that parents really wanted to have their kids go, even in the midst of the pandemic, that
Yeah.
it was important.
It was.
So, Jerry, what was it about RCS when you looked through all of the others, and when your kids first start going there, when did the light come on saying we made the right choice?
That's a great question. So when we first toured, one of the first things I noticed was that, and I'll be, this is a lot of people listening might think that Christian schools, private schools are all primarily one ethnicity. One of the first things I noticed when I was touring RCS was that there's a ton of diversity. Like that, not all the kids are white in there. And I grew up in Highland Springs, so I grew up in a very diverse environment. That's important to me. I want my kids to know their cultures and that kind of. And RCS embraces everybody as they are, just like our Lord Jesus does. God's no respecter of person. So that was the first thing I noticed in the tour. And of course, the warmth and welcoming of all the teachers. I mean, they let us literally walk through the class while they're teaching. They're cool with it. It was exciting to see how motivated everyone was about bringing more people into the family. That was the first thing. And then the growth was not exponential. That'd be an overstatement, but it was definitely, it was a kind of thing where I was like, wow, I better get a seat, before I run out of, seats kind of thing. But then when my kids started getting in the car just a few weeks after going there, and they start talking to me about their faith, it's not daddy prompting them after church, hey, what'd you learn at church? It was they get in the car, hey, daddy, did you know God? Did you know this? Did you know that? I'm like, well, I kind of know a little bit about that. I'm placating a little bit, just trying to get them to continue talking. And I was so moved because I've always wanted my children to understand faith the way I do. And now they're learning that alongside math. So that was the biggest aha for me about, hey, did we make the right choice? And the answer is a resounding yes.
On the mic, Mike Jerry is here with us. Like I said, he always brings the greatest guest. Richmond Christian School. How can people find you guys out there?
So probably the easiest way to find us on the web is at richmondchristian.com, all one word. The website's there, kind of tells you information about who we are, what we believe, cost for tuition. Really, if you want to really know about the school, give us a call and come by for a tour. We do tours. Our administrative team is available during the day to do tours for, again, anything from kindergarten up to 12th grade. And we'll walk around the campus, talk to you about curriculum, talk to you about who we are as a school, and then show people how they can apply and then get involved and connect with Warrior Nation.
And you can come in the middle of this year too, as well,
Yes,
right?
sir. And we're always open to that. We always expect that when school starts, sometimes families realize, hey, I'd rather go to the private environment, and so they give us a call. And yeah, we have families that come in and do tours even after school starts. They'll apply after school starts, but the only thing limiting us right now is space. And once the space is full and the seats are full in that grade, then we're kind of stuck with that. But we do see God moving in a lot of ways, and we're looking forward to over these next couple of years, especially looking to cast more vision as far as capital campaign, growing the school, new facilities right there on campus. So it's an exciting time to be a part of RCS. Right
There you go. Congratulations on that, Jerry. Anything you'd like to add to it?
No, I think that's the great summary. I'm excited to hear about your vision for the future, Bill, as well. You were telling me just a moment ago about the expected growth and the idea you have. When you in leadership, that's one of the foundational things we teach is vision. So when I've got head of school talking about his vision for the future, I mean, honestly, at that level, that is what you should be talking anyway. So when you can share the vision like that, man, you can inspire all kinds of people, not only to help with that vision, but also to add to it. So kudos to you, Bill. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
One of Mike and Mike, we're here. Bill who's here with us, Richmond Christian School. Jerry's here. You can catch up with Jerry when?
Mondays at 6:30 a.m.
Kicking the week off right.
Leadership broadcast.
That's right. He's here. He's infusing Christian faith with the leadership aspect of it. And when you talk about that, give them an idea of what do you mean by that?
Yeah, what we're going to cover is very useful secular tools. Right, the 5 leadership voices is what I've been talking about before, and I've talked about other tools like the 70-30 principle. These are ways that you learn how to lead yourself, and then of course you can lead others. You're in pursuit of being 100% leader or 100% healthy, and then of course multiplying yourself. So that's the big model. But here's what's cool. If you don't have a faith background, or if you don't have some kind of faith that you ascribe to, some kind of doctrine that's important to you, you're going to get tidbits of that as well, because every tool that I teach can be found in scripture, and I have no problem sharing that with my audience. So that's what you can look for in the Intrepid Impact Leadership broadcast on Monday mornings at 6:30 a.m.
That's right here on ESPN Richmond. Jerry Howard, ESPN Richmond radio personality. On the mic with Mike, we bring you the best and the brightest. That's what we do. We bring game changers to you. So we're coming to you from ESPN Richmond. We're also at the Choice 105.3 every day from 2 to 3. We're bringing the gospel aspect. We're on the gospel station, but we're bringing the good news as well as international business growth radio. On the mic with Mike, ESPN Richmond. Bill's here. Jerry's here. We got to run. Ladies and gentlemen, take care. Thanks now. Take care.